All right, thank you so much, Mindy. So our next workshop is Mass Rights for Change, Survivor Support, We're Here to Help. In this workshop, we will be presenting the Mass Rights for Change, or MRfC, team, and the Survivor Support Packet, or SSP, as an example of our work. We will highlight the need for people to support survivors of sexual violence, and we will also highlight the need for self-care and practice self-care during the workshop. We will show people how to use the SSP and where to find self-care videos on the MASS website. And the Pathways for Change counselor will be available if people need to talk with someone. And now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our presenters. In no particular order, John Mullaly, Inger Riley, Eliza Corderman, Pauline Bosma, Brian Kelly, Heidi Sue LaBoeuf, Jenn Rioux, and Sue Moriarty. Take it away, folks.
Hello, everybody. I'm Pauline. I am going first. So I'm going to introduce a little bit about, this project a little bit more. Mass Rights for Change is a project that was created to support survivors against sexual violence for people with disability. But I'm going to talk about this picture a little bit because this picture is very important, and I want you to picture this, is that this is why we picked this picture for this first slide, is that you're somewhere, you're in the forest or whatever, and there's a mist or fog, but there's a little bit of sunlight shining through. And that's what Mass Rights is that we're the sunlight, and we're trying to, shine the light onto sexual violence. And we're just trying to figure out, how do we get the light more brighter? And this is one way we did it and everything like that. And right now I'm going to turn it over to Inger in the next slide.
Thanks, Pauline. I'm Inger Riley, and I'm lucky enough to be the project director for Mass Rights for Change. Like Pauline was saying, we're Mass Rights for Change. On the bottom, you can see Mass is from Mass Advocates Standing Strong, and Rights from Victim Rights Law Center, and for Change from Pathways for Change. And those are the three agencies that make up the Mass Rights for Change that we got a grant to support us to work together to support survivors of sexual violence with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So you all know about MASS, and Victim Rights Law Center is a pro bono legal service for civil rights for victims of violence. This is my cat, who will be here probably throughout the presentation. His name is Ziggy, and he also has disabilities. And the final agency for us is Pathways for Change, which is the Rape Crisis Center for Central Mass, covering 47 cities and towns all around Central Mass, also free for counseling for survivors and their supporters, friends, and family. And that's who we are. So I'm going to introduce Brian Kelly now, because we're going to just run through what we're going to do today. And first, we are going to be talking about sexual violence and sexual assault. We're not going to get into details, but we want to make sure people are aware it's a really hard topic. And Pathways for Change has counselors available. If you'll see in the chat, they'll put in a link, and you could just click on the link and go right to a counselor. You may have to get out of your Zoom to use your camera, but there's a link there to talk to somebody if you're getting triggered or it's too hard and you need to talk with somebody. So Brian, today we're going to do an introduction, who we are. We're kind of doing that already.
Right.
And then we're going to get into what is a survivor and talk a little bit about what that means. And then why we were created to begin with, how we built a real collaboration with all the agencies and all of us at the table. Right? So everybody at the table has the same voice. We're all working together.
Yes, we do.
Right. And then we're going to do we're going to show the survivor support packet. One of the things our team created together to support survivors and people who are supporters of survivors. And then we're going to wrap up and have some time for questions. Right?
Right.
Right. Anything you want to add, Brian, about what we're going to do today before we hand it over?
Actually says this is a tough subject.
It is a tough subject. It can be very hard. And so we as a group know about that. And we're here to make sure people are aware and get the help they need in case.
Right.
So we're going to hand it off to the next.
Next.
Which would be to John Mullaly and also
Take it away, John.
John?
Nothing about us without us. It means we are here for you. Come cross the bridge, and we'll be here for you.
Thanks, John. So the bridge says we're building a bridge for survivors to connect to get help, right?
Yep.
Yep. And this slide says we always start here with nothing about us without us. So where does that come? Where does that come from, John? Nothing about us without us.
It comes from
Doesn't it come from mass?
It comes from mass.
Yeah. And I think what's important here is that all of the things that we have here were created by every single person on this team, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we want people to know that. And we hope everything we talk about today is going to be helpful to people. Okay.
Next slide.
Go ahead, Heidi. You can go first.
Okay, thank you,
I'm gonna ask you
Pauline.
comments.
So Pauline and I are going to talk about what is a survivor support. We know that many people with intellectual and or developmental disabilities are survivors of sexual abuse.
Yeah, and it's very important that we talk about it and then we understand what is a survivor and everything like that. And that's one reason why we created this survivor support package.
So what is sexual abuse? Sexual abuse is when someone does something sexual to you without your permission. It can also mean that someone makes you do something sexual to them without your permission. And we call that person that sexually abuses people a victim and or a survivor. That happens to, right?
Yeah, and it's very important that we use the right language and the right wording, because some people might not be comfortable with saying that word, a victim or survivor, and it's very important that we use those words, and that it helps people when they hear that, yes, I'm a survivor, I'm a victim or whatever. It's
Right.
those words that help and everything like that might help a peer-to-peer person.
Right, right. So in other words, for sexual abuse and sexual assault, we may also call that sexual violence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So there's different terms and they all mean very similar things, and they all mean somebody was hurt in a sexual way.
Yep. Yep.
So sometimes people are not believed when they say they were abused.
Yep.
We believe you, right?
Yeah, and that happens a lot with people with disability, that they might be saying I've been abused, but nobody believes them, nobody understands them. So, but we're here to help you and to support you and understand, this what you're going through, and that's why we created this survivor support package, so you can look at it and say, I might need this. I might need this, survivor support package.
So if someone you know is a victim or a survivor, it's important to let them know that we're here to help and we have resources and tools to help them move towards healing, right, Pauline?
Yeah, and we got some. If when we get into it more, we'll get into what we got, and we got some really good stuff that we have on the survivor support package
Good
and
stuff.
like that. So
Yeah.
So
All right. So how about we move this over to Sue?
yeah. So,
Okay, Sue, it's yours.
All right. Thank you, Heidi, Sue, and Pauline. So why does this matter? Why did we want to present this to everyone? Because we know that rates of sexual abuse, assault, and rape are higher among people with disabilities. And out of people with disabilities, people with IDD, that means intellectual or developmental disabilities, they're more likely to be sexually abused or assaulted than people without IDD. So we also know that survivors with IDD experience the same trauma responses and they have the same struggles as people in the broader population. But there are some additional challenges and barriers for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So we want you to know most of all, that you're not alone, that we see you, and we're here to give you a hand. And that's why we're here today.
Yes, we are.
All right, I'm going to turn it back over to Heidi Sue right now.
Thank you very much, Sue.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to talk about more specifically who Pathways is and the approach that we take to the work. So we're a rape crisis center, and we operate from a place of trauma-informed information. So what does that mean? It means very simply that we understand how trauma impacts survivors. And so we'll use the term, like Pauline mentioned, survivor instead of victim, because we want to recognize how strong we know survivors are. And first of all, though, I have to say, we believe survivors. We're going to believe you. If you call us, we're going to believe you. We also recognize that sexual assault, sexual abuse, sexual violence is really harmful and it hurts people. We recognize that trauma affects us in so many areas. It's not just in one place, but it might affect us how we communicate with other people. We suddenly might be scared of the world, or we're afraid to go to work or visit friends because we may not trust people as much. We also know that survivors deserve to be treated with respect and kindness, and we believe being empowered to make choices that work best for them. And we're not going to make those decisions for them, but help them for making those decisions themselves. And we'll operate from a place of, instead of saying what's wrong with you, we'll say, what happened to you? Your story matters. And these are all the things that are important for helping people heal from those traumatic experiences. But we're also survivor-centered. So that means we believe that survivors know themselves best. They know what's going to work for them. They know what information is going to be best for them. And we're not going to provide advice, but we're going to provide options, and we're going to help people with those options. And if that doesn't work, well, we'll work on some new options and see what does. We offer our free support and resources because we believe nobody ever deserves to be hurt. We believe that nobody should ever have to pay, work on their healing, and that our services are free and confidential because of that. We also believe that everybody deserves equal rights. We believe in human rights and social rights and civil rights and opportunities. And that's the other reason why we also keep our services free. We don't want anybody to ever have to pay. We don't want anybody to ever have to worry about their insurance and whether they'll cover this free service. And lastly, it's an important thing to share that our counselors are not therapists. Therapists are very unique and they do very specialized things. Our staff are community health workers. So that means they're very specially trained, very specifically to understand sexual abuse, understand trauma-informed support, understand that survivors deserve to have control over their healing and their decision-making. So we're not going to be able to provide documentation. We're not going to be able to speak for you, but we don't believe that you need that from us. We believe that you just need support. You need help on how to cope and deal with what you've experienced. We believe you need support in being able to work on wellness and self-care. And we believe that you have a voice and you deserve to exercise that voice. And our services are here for survivors, as well as support people, families, friends, those people who are there to help protect you rather than hurt you. And so we're going to have Jenn share a little bit now more about those support people and how we can help them too.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Heidi Sue. Hi, I'm the disabilities advocate and counselor here at Pathways for Change. So yeah, I just wanted to go over a little bit about support people and how we support people as well, and how important it is to do that. So why do we include supporters? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Supporters who can be family, friends, people who work with you and for you. They're an important part of people's lives, and they oftentimes have a lot more time to spend with you, an ear to listen to, and so supporters often will, family, friends, will often listen to the stories, and the stories can be heavy as well. And when someone we care about hurt, or someone we love hurts, we hurt too. But they also make services accessible for people. So they sometimes make the calling the appointments, scheduling the appointments, getting transportation to go to the appointments. So these are all very important things. Absolutely. Next slide. So we believe support staff deserve support too. Like I said, they're taking on a lot of the information, and it's a lot to take on. And being able to support someone who supports a survivor, it can ease a lot of their discomfort, or sometimes we get worried that we're not saying the right things or doing the right things, and having someone to talk to that is trauma informed and compassionate can help guide you and verify the things that you're doing is helping their healing as well. And like I mentioned before, family can be supports as well, family and friends, absolutely. And we help family and friends and supporters understand the big picture, so they don't accidentally harm during the healing process. Everything is done with such good intentions, but sometimes we don't know if we're doing more harm than good. And so family, friends, and support staff, they hold the feelings for the survivor. Sometimes the feelings can get pretty heavy. So it's great to be an ear to listen to, but it's also good to know who to point your friends, survivors to as well. Sometimes it's what's called secondary trauma or compassion fatigue. Nobody should hold the full burden of, especially a friend or family member, keep holding it on, because there's damage that can be done to yourself. So that's why self-care is so important for support staff as well, family and friends as well. It's a big step in the healing process for everyone. Next slide. And now I want to pass it on to Pauline and Sue.
All right. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Jen. So now we're going to talk a little more about what is in the survivor support package and everything like that.
And let's tell people, Pauline, where this survivors support packet is again.
It's on the Mass website and everything like that. Like Brian showed you when you went to the website, you can check it out on the survivor support package and everything like that. It's very helpful to go look at it, look it up, everything like that. You know, there might be some things that are not in there directly, but we have a lot of that the survivor support package on the link and everything like that. So,
All right, now comes the good part where we show people what is in here, right, Pauline?
Yeah, so this is some of the stuff that's in the survivor support package that we put in there and everything like that. Like if you see the first one, it says know your rights. Then it says a quick resource list, the trust card, where to get more help, pathways for change, the Victims' Right Law Center, the Sorrow Unit, self-care help tools and everything like that, tips on supporting and survivors. So those are all the things that are in this survivor support package.
Yeah, and we're going to show people a few of these things, right?
Yep.
Cool. All right, turning it over to John and Brian, who are going to talk about the self-care tools. John?
This is self-care tools, and me, Brian, Kelly, and Pauline. I do my yoga and Pauline does her bunny
Her bunny Snowball.
snowball,
Right.
and Brian does self-care music.
Yeah.
Especially the
So people can go right in there and click on the links to those videos, right?
yes, they can.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can go in and click on the links to the videos.
Yeah. And we also have some listening things too. So we have a listening to a relaxation exercise,
Right.
and we have more relaxation exercises. So we have something for everyone, right?
Yes,
Yes,
it's all
we
in
do.
live.
Things you can watch, things you can listen to. Yeah, different things like that. I think, John, last night when we practiced, you called it guided meditation, but it's whatever any of these things are, they're meant to help people when feeling stressed. Got anything else you want to say about that, Brian Kelly?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it helps because especially if you're going through a lot. Symphony music's the best because there's no words. Well, smooth jazz.
Nice. Well, you do a nice video, so people should go check it out. All righty. Now here are some more options in the survivor support packet. We really want to make sure we had a lot of different things for people so you can find something that really works for you. So the first one is taking time for yourself. And you can see we have some pictures here to give people some ideas of things they could do to do some self-care and take a little time out for yourself. So John, what are some of the things here?
You can smell the flowers.
And smell the flowers, sure.
You can play games.
Yep, play a game.
Listen to music.
Yep. You can get moving and do some exercise maybe. Or maybe do an art project. You
Yes,
can, yep. You can journal your feelings if that's what you like to do. Or you could reach out to someone you trust or, you know, family, friends, just reach out to someone to talk to. And of course, down at the bottom, we have take a deep breath, which John you will be helping us with that today and doing some of that.
yes, I will.
So we also have coming back to center exercise and some things that you can do to help you focus, because sometimes when we get stressed, it's hard to focus on what we need to do. So there are some things you can do here to focus back on what you need to do. Also more relaxation exercises. We have something called putting the hard stuff away, where you can put it off to the side and focus on what you need to do at that time. We also have tips for survivors, because sometimes when we're struggling, we want to help the people who support us and the people around us. We want to help them know what's good for us and what will help us when we're feeling stressed and we're struggling. So we have tips that you can share with the people around you too. What do you say, John? That wraps it up, huh?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so the other thing we have in our survivor support packet is a trust card. And some of you who took the awareness and action training will probably recognize the idea of a trust card. So what this is sometimes when we get stressed out, we want to talk to someone and we forget who would be a good person to talk to. So this is a card that you can print out or have someone help you print it. So you put the name of a person that you trust, someone who can be there with you when you need to get help or just stand by you, someone to be there if you need to call them. You put their name and you put their phone number on the trust card. Then you can fold it up, even if it doesn't come out like a card, it's just a piece of paper. You can fold it up, you can put it in your purse or your wallet. And then if you want to talk to someone, you can pull that out and say, oh yeah, here's the name of someone I can call and their number. So we have that in the packet as well. And we hope it's helpful. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Eliza now.
Hello, thank you. So I'm representing the Victim Rights Law Center. So as Inger mentioned in the beginning, we are a free legal service for survivors of sexual assault in Massachusetts. And so we help survivors after a sexual assault, and we help with a number of civil legal issues. And so you can call us if you're looking for some legal help. And so when you call us, sometimes it can be overwhelming to remember all of the different things that we ask you to tell us in the message. You'll call us, and so we ask you to leave a message. And so in the survivor support packet, there is this script that we included. And the script just helps you write down some of the things that we ask you to tell us. your name, where you live, the best way to contact you, and what you're looking for help with. And so these are things that you might just want to write down beforehand, and then you can look back at this script. The script continues onto the next page here. And if you have any court dates coming up, we also ask you to tell us about any of those. And so you can write that down beforehand, what the date is and where, what court you'll be at, and you can tell us that in your message as well. And so this is just to help you, also included in the support packet to use when you give us a call. And then something that's not in the support packet that we have been working on with MRfC are these infographics. And basically what these are is resources for survivors when you're meeting with a lawyer or going through a legal process. It can be very confusing just because there's so many legal terms. It's very unfamiliar if you're not a lawyer, which most of us are not lawyers. And so we created these to help explain some of the legal processes that you'll be going through, who might be involved, what is it going to look like, and sort of helping understand some of these more complicated terms. And so the example we have here is, what is the difference between a civil restraining order and a criminal case? And so if you don't know that, most people don't know that. So this is sort of to help break that down a little bit and explain what those differences are. And your lawyer will go over all of this information with you, but this is to help make it easier for you to follow along. And so we have a few of these. This is just an example of one of them. So if you are working with a lawyer at the Victim Rights Law Center, we will have these to help support you. And then I'm just going to pass it back to Inger here. Thank you.
Thank you, Eliza. It's hard for me to unmute. There's all this pause between sounds. So John has been able to help us run through some breathing. And usually, you know, when you're all stirred up and you need to sort of calm down and regroup, breathing is a really good way to help you get back to the center. And so we thought, after talking about such a hard thing, we would ask John to come on and help us do some breathing towards the end of our presentation. So John Mullaly, if you would mind, you can take it away and help us do some breathing now.
Okay. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in again. Breathe out.
Oh, can we do another one, John? That's
If you can breathe.
sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you can breathe, well, if you can get support, we will believe you.
Excellent. So if you can breathe, you can get support, right?
Yep.
And you always love to tell people that we will believe you.
Yes, I do.
Thank you, John.
So much, John. All right, Pauline.
And hi there again, I'm Pauline. And this is how you can contact each of the agency. This is the project director, Inger Riley, and her email and everything like that. Then you got And then you got Mass Survivors Standing Strong information at wearemass.org. You know, then you got Victims' Right Law Center at victimsright.org. Then you got Pathways for Change, which is pathwaysforchange.help and everything like that. So those are how you can contact the 3 different agencies. You can also contact by mail, email, phone, you know, text, you know. I don't know what the other one was, the last one symbol was, you know, up there in the top where it's got the phone, email, that last little thing.
I think
at the
it's
end.
location.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is, Pauline. I know it's a weird one.
yeah.
It is. So you can contact each of the agencies and each of us from those emails and everything like that. So, next slide. So now, do you have any questions for us about the survivor support package? We are open to any and all questions.
Hey, Pauline, can I just say that I see a question in the Q&A that's a really good one.
Yeah.
They're asking if there are any apps or information online about surviving sexual abuse and how to deal with it, and to like deal with it or get help with it if people don't know how to look it up on the Mass website. So we have someone here on this team and a place here where there are people just available and ready to help people to talk if they need to talk to someone about that, right?
Yep.
That would be Pathways for Change.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I may say, I don't know if there's any particular app. I do know that there's some being worked on. I don't know if they're out yet. But, you know, sometimes when we start talking to another person might be helpful. So I keep putting my office number in the chat. I'll put it one more time. And if anybody wants to call me on Monday, and I say that because in our area, we're getting a lot of snow in Worcester. And so we're going to let our staff stay home tomorrow and work remotely. So we won't, unfortunately, have anybody answering our office number. So I'm going to put it in the chat, and please give me a call on Monday, and I'm happy to answer whatever any questions folks might have.
Any other questions, comments? Raise your hands, whatever.
Yeah. Looks like we have a couple people with hands raised. Going to bring up Mary G first. All right, Mary.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Staci. You know, it helps to know you're not alone when someone gets abused, and I'm sorry for everyone that has. That it helps to have an apology and know what people are going through. But I'm glad that you have a place like this, because you said you can take comments too. So I don't have any questions per se, but it is hard when you're a victim of any kind of abuse.
Thank you, Staci.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Right. Let's bring Fran up next, it looks like.
Hi guys, I just want to say thank you to all of you as a survivor for making it possible to helping survivors like myself through this pain and suffering. And I just want to say, well put presentation.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right. Let's bring up Tom and Rhonda next.
Right, I like Viber. That's a very good word. I think you guys really did a really good job. I want to thank everybody.
It's very helpful.
That's nice, helpful.
Very helpful for you.
Helpful.
For you.
For me. Yeah.
Well, you're welcome, Tom, and we're glad to bring this to you and everything like that. So, so that's one reason why we created it, to make sure that people get aware of it, and they try to use it as much as they can use it and everything like that. And they tell other people, say, hey, go check this out. Go check this survivor support package out because it's going to help a lot of people. And another thing that I just wanted to say is that as far as I know, Massachusetts is the first state to come up with this peer-to-peer, survivor support package. I believe we're the only state in the country that has this right now. So
because it came from you, right?
Yep.
It came from all of us, our
Sure
whole
did.
team.
Came from a wonderful team that we got together and we worked together and everything like that. So
I hate to bring this up, but I was a survivor at one time, so it really helps.
Yep.
All right. Looking at the chat here, looks like Fran made a comment. You guys are very inspirational. Thank you so much, Fran. All right. And it looks like Jenn also posted again in the chat the hotline for Pathways for Change. If anyone needs to call that, again, I think there's some concerns with the weather we're having tomorrow. So if folks decide to call on Monday, all right. Let's see, other questions, stuff in the Q&A. Looks like, let's see, Fran has his hand up once again.
No, I was just saying in the chat that I use the packet every day. That's all.
Oh, that's good. And again, this is a resource that. Oh, sorry, Brian Kelly.
You should. It'll help you because it's helping me. That's all that's going on.
Yeah. Yep. That's what it's there for. And the more questions, the better. Thank you for sending your questions our way.
Yeah.
And this is Inger. I just want to jump on what Pauline was saying, that we are the first in the country because it's our own, but we are the first group to really do not just resources for survivors, because a lot of people put those together, but we were asked to do a national presentation on this because nobody had really talked about self-care as a main way to think about survivors taking care of themselves while they get help, just mostly about how to get help. So Mass Rights for Change put this together with a bunch of self-advocates putting videos and time and energy into all of how to support survivors with IDD. So that's why it's so special, I think.
Right. It looks like Jenn just had her hand up really quick. Jenn, is there something you wanted to add in here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because I put the Pathways for Change 24-hour hotline, especially for Central Mass, because we were mentioning because of weather and things like that, and to call in on Monday or Tuesday to the office, but also the 24-hour hotline is good for any time, like after hours, if you're having a trauma issue or just need to talk something out about sexual abuse or sexual assault that happened to you or a friend, and you just need to talk. It can be anytime after hours. So I just wanted to let you know you don't have to wait if something is immediately causing you some issues and you just need to talk to someone.
Good. Thanks, Jenn, for that. Thanks for clarifying that. Good to know for folks.
Any other questions?
Looks like we have Al Tomek, who's got his hand up.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to know more about these packets. What is included in them?
Maybe we can send you a link. Al, maybe we can send you a link to the packet. And as far as advocating, maybe what you could do is get in touch at wearemass.org later after the conference, and maybe we can sort of give you some resources or something to help you on your way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
And just for, yeah.
And when you go on that packet, anyone who goes on it, make sure you click on those links because the videos and the relaxation and all kinds of stuff are really good to see on there. I mean, you get to see Pauline's bunny, and you get to see Brian playing music and John doing his yoga. So definitely check it out.
Mhm. Looks like Brian Kramer just posted the link to the packet in the chat. Again, we have a dedicated page on our Mass website for folks who want to access that. And do check that page out. Again, as we've talked about, there's a lot of good and helpful stuff in there.
Yeah, for anyone.
Yep. Any more questions, comments?
I think Heidi Sue is answering one of the questions. Some people are asking specifically about how to get help for particular things. And I would say definitely contact Pathways and they will help you start to figure out how to get help for that. I'm sure she's typing that too, but I just want to say it for others who may be asking, like, how do I get help for, not thinking about these hard things or not remembering when I don't want to, or so Pathways has people there who can help you figure out next best steps and options for you. So I just
also supporters too, right, Inger? Us supporters can call in too.
Absolutely. Friends, family, people who are impacted by somebody else who's been traumatized by sexual violence. It impacts all the community, honestly, and Pathways is there to support all of the people who, have been hurt.
Right. Like Jen says, when we care about somebody who's hurting, we hurt, right?
Pathways is awesome.
All right. Yeah, we got a couple more, hopeful quotes here in the chat. Brent says, they are amazing with their talent. And Kelly Murphy says, great job, everyone.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if we should go to the next page because we have a couple minutes. If John, I'm going to put you on the spot. You ready?
Okay.
We set this up. Go ahead, John and Sue.
John, thank you, Inger. John, you are always ready, aren't you?
Yep.
So what are we going to practice here, John?
Now, I can practice with you some shoulder rolls and neck rolls.
Yeah, and John, what do we want to say about this cat?
Animals can do yoga too.
That's right. It says anyone can do yoga, right?
Yep.
All right, let's get started.
Anyone can do. Okay. We can do neck rolls.
Okay, how many are we going to do?
How much time?
Well, you want to do the 5 and 5?
Yep.
All right, so we'll start in one direction and then go in the other. So you're going to count?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my goodness, you go fast. All right, other way.
The way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, that's so relaxing. Thank you.
You're welcome. We can do the shoulder rolls
Are we going to do 5 and 5 again?
Yes, please.
All right, forward first or back first?
Let's do forward.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Where can people see more of this, John?
On our website that we are mass.org.
Yep, in the survivor support packet, right?
In the survivor support package.
Yeah, thank you.
You can also listen to my or watch my video, which is longer. A little bit, but you are welcome.
That was so helpful, John. Thank you. And Sue, too, for helping us just relax a little. We have a couple minutes left, and I realize there's sometimes it takes a minute or two to think of the question you might want to ask. And somebody brought up why, I'm going to read it because it's a great question, and our team talks a lot about this. It says, this is Staci again, and I do have a question. Why is it that people who have disabilities are not believed or respected when they tell someone or another person? Tired of people taking advantage of. So we as a team talk about that. Does anybody want to talk to Staci about what we've talked about?
I would say, I know Brian has something to say too. I'm going to let Brian go first. Go ahead, Brian, you can go first.
Well, we're supposed to be believed, because we have the same rights as other people.
Yeah. And to go along with that is that some people, live and they might live in a home, in a group home, or they might live somewhere else and everything like that, and they have a lot of strict rules and everything like that. And and even though they might tell their support person or their staff or whatever, their guardian, whatever, that somebody's doing something wrong, somebody's harming them in some way, they're not being listened to, they're not being heard. So it's very important that we as self-advocates that were on this project, we wanted to make sure that was always there. We wanted to bring attention to the, that we will believe you, we will support you, we will guide you, help you along your journey. So it's very important that we get that across and everything like that, that even though you might not believe by who's ever supporting you, whatever, when you come to us, we're going to say, yes, we believe you. Same thing with the Victims' Right Law Center and Pathways. We're going to believe you, what you say, and everything like that. So
yes, and I love Don's comment. Self-advocates will believe you for sure.
Yep.
And we also always say, if one person doesn't believe you, go to someone else who will believe you, right? But I just want to say, self-advocacy changes things. The more that you speak up, even in small ways, it makes a big difference. And I think that's hopeful, Staci, that we all keep speaking up, and making things better for everyone.
Right. Yep.
All right. I think it is about 12:30 here, just about time to wrap up. Just looking to see if we have any sort of final questions here.
Yeah, look at Fran's
sorry
comment.
about that. Oh, there's one.
Self-advocacy is the key to life. I love it.
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right. Well, again, I think we are just about ready to move on to lunch here. So I'm just going to bring up Mindy, our MC for today, just to give us a little send off before we break. Again, thanks to everybody, and